As I guess everybody knows, my name is Michael Millerman, and I studied political science at the University of Toronto for my PhD. So I have like an academic background. I was studying philosophy before then. And my PhD program ended up with me getting blacklisted from academia effectively because I had done work on Alexander Dugin. So the story of how I got to Dugin and why that affected my political science research, in short, it's like this. My initial interest was in mysticism before I ever thought about going to university. I was reading mystics from various religious traditions, and I was intrigued by the commonality of their accounts and by the different ways they interpreted. Like there seemed to be a similar underlying fundamental experience that they were interpreting in terms of the religious tradition they knew best. So once I discovered that, that was pretty intriguing and fascinating to me. But that was my world, mysticism. Then at some point, my older brother observed, that I wasn't in university and suggested that it would be a pretty good idea if I go. So I never dreamed of being an academic. It wasn't in the cards. Some kids, they're planning the school they're going to go to from a very young age, or their parents are planning that for them. I didn't have that, but I did start studying philosophy. And my first philosophy course was like, bam, this is for me. This resonated so much. It was an amazing transformative experience in a way. So I'm super indebted. One of the guys I don't mention very often, like I talk about Dugin, other figures who are important to me, Strauss, Heidegger, but my first philosophy professor, he's crucially important to me because his approach to the study of these old books, his approach to the study of philosophy set him really head and shoulders above all of the other professors, all of the other teachers. So I took this interest in mysticism, combined it with this newfound love of philosophy, and that was like a piece of the puzzle right there. But because my family's from the former Soviet Union, and I grew up speaking some Russian in the household, I have kind of one foot in the West, one foot out of it. I was born in Canada, but the family, has this Russian side to it. So when I was studying the mystics, the Russian mystics came on the radar for me. And eventually these three things, mysticism, philosophy, and Russia, clicked when I read this article about Alexander Dugin that I read however long ago it was now, 2010, 2011. Then I started translating his books, studying him, writing about him in the context of philosophy and political theory. And I just continued to do that for many years. But because he's a living, relevant, controversial figure, and a lot of academics like to play it safe with uncontroversial people who are no longer around, they like to lower the stakes. It became a bit of an issue that I was writing about him sympathetically or understandingly, making an effort to go beyond the headlines on him, so to speak, into the substantive issues of his work. So that got me pushed out of academia, and I eventually started my own school, millermanschool.com, where I can continue writing, teaching, researching, and just carrying on the work that I love the most, which is studying political philosophy, teaching it, discussing it with people who care about it, working with new students. And I'm really lucky that I was able to develop some sort of independent online academic presence, because if I got, torn away from that, that would be kind of heartbreaking, since it's what I love doing more than anything.